Hi, this is Jim Sevier with Convergence Readiness, and in this video we're going to talk about shortest path bridging opportunities from the category of scale. Now, most of us are going to be, we're going to be in the mid-market range, right? And you think of scale, you think of enterprise, you think of large-scale enterprise. However, we're going to look at this from a couple of different perspectives. I don't want you to think of scale in terms of number of people, because we will talk about that, but I think we also need to talk about the number of applications or services that business is running. And think of a service as like, Microsoft Outlook and Excel and PowerPoint, and look at all these different applications that are running on your computer. You actually have a number of different services all running under one computer. I want you to, and that's just for your individual person. So I want you to start looking at the scale of a network from a services perspective, and also from a device perspective. Again, we live in a time where we have multiple devices that we connect to the internet. So it's not just a laptop, it's not just a computer or a desktop computer. I've also got a cell phone and a tablet, any number of different devices that come down the road in the future. But we've at least got 2 or 3 or 4 devices that we're bringing into the network. So it's kind of a 1 to 4 or 4 times the amount of devices. So when you look at scale, don't just consider the number of employees. Consider the number of applications and services that those employees use, and then consider the amount of devices that they have, because they each constitute a connection on the internet, right? A physical or logical connection on the network. So we're going to talk, and then that all equates to scale. So we're going to talk about shortest path bridging opportunities that have to deal under the category of scale. So the first thing that I do want to talk about is that of video, and specifically video surveillance. This is a marketplace that is growing. It's a $15 billion marketplace today. It is growing significantly. I mean, we live in an environment where we are constantly under a heightened threat level, and companies and businesses and cities and states and governments want to protect property and lives and everything else associated with where we live in today. So it's a risk mitigation play. But video surveillance is a key element to this, as is the migration of video from cable TV to Internet protocol, to IP. So just like we had traditional analog and digital telephones, we also now have IP telephones, right? So just as we've made that migration from analog and digital telephones, we've now moved from cable TV to IP surveillance, video surveillance. So that gives us a significant amount of added complexity to the network when we start talking about scale. So even if you didn't grow your number of employees or grow the number of total devices that you have in your network, you may have added a significant application in terms of video surveillance in the banking industry, financial services, healthcare, gaming, city-state, metropolitan networks, city-state, federal governments. They're all adding a significant amount of video cameras to provide that level of risk mitigation that is necessary in today's society. So a significant element of scale has to equate to video surveillance. And when you talk about video surveillance, you're talking about a protocol called IP multicast. And the traditional legacy network routing protocols just do not have the support for the growth that has been going on inside of this industry. And what we see today is an industry where the manufacturers the vendors rather, who manufacture these video surveillance equipment, the management applications that manage these videos, the monitors, the storage of all this video, when we look at those manufacturers, they see the traditional routing legacy network as not being the network that is best suited for their solutions in their markets. And they actually have gone over to shortest path bridging and are actually certified that shortest path bridging technology through Avaya's Avaya Fabric Connect in the labs back in Santa Clara. So you've got a significant, you got Genetec, you got Pelco, Milestone, you've got EMC and Oracle, you've got all these big manufacturers who are in a large market, and they're all pointing to shortest path bridging to support the scale of IP multicast that's going on in the network today. And again, we can equate this more towards, yes, a number of cameras, right? A traditional routed legacy network, can support 1,000 cameras, right? And I'm being nice there. But in shortest path bridging, you can support 10,000 cameras. And I'm not over-exaggerating on that one. So what you see now is from a scale perspective, shortest path bridging can give you a 10 times capacity of growth and scale within a video environment. Even if today you're only sitting at 700 cameras, the closer you get to 1,000 cameras, the more and more delay that you'll receive from those legacy routing protocols, and it will just become too difficult for you to keep that environment up and running. In fact, in the gaming industry, you can have 200 cameras, and they're having that difficulty today. So what you're seeing is you're seeing manufacturers and you're seeing industry thought leaders in gaming and in financial services and healthcare and city-state governments. They're actually looking at shortest path bridging as the technology to solve and resolve the issue of IP multicast. So there's a 10x capability there for shortest path bridging that isn't a capability with traditional legacy routing protocols. So that is a significant element to address when you're talking to customers about shortest path bridging and the opportunity to solve that issue of scale. Now let's look at another issue of scale, and that has to do with those services that I talked about. Services are interesting because, as I mentioned, I'm not just talking about 500 users in a network, I'm talking about the applications that they support. And within traditional legacy routed networks, there's a technology called VLANs, or virtual local area networks, that you can program a service for. So you could create a VLAN for Excel users, right? So you can put Excel users all on a single VLAN. You can put executives, so executives on their own VLAN. You can put accounting on their own VLAN. And in this example, this provides a virtual or logical separation between each one of these users. Unfortunately, there's a capability, and I mentioned it in the security standpoint video, where you can actually hop. It's called VLAN hopping, where you can actually hop between these individual VLANs. But even without that, what you're talking about is a limitation of up to 4,000. I think it's 4,016, but let's just say it's just a little over 4,000 virtual LANs within a traditional routed network, legacy routed network. So what we can do today, though, with shortest path bridging is we can serve 16 million services within that same routed network, shortest path bridging network. And that allows you the ability to scale significantly when it comes to video and various applications. You can now sort based on specific applications. Like you could take all Facebook users and put them on their own network, right? Well, the nice thing about this is that it helps you solve issues with businesses that have multiple. I mentioned multi-tenancy in the resilience piece, but this allows the network to actually support multiple environments or multiple groups within a single virtual switch. So I could have a virtual switch now that can support up to 16 million services, so that I can put the execs inside of this, and I can put all of these different, in a total encapsulated environment, up to 16 million different services being run through this network, all through individual switches. I don't have to have 4 switches, each with their individual group running on it. I could actually have a multi-tenancy and grow their services up to 16 million in a scaled shortest path bridged environment. So this is going to work in large data centers. It's going to work in geographically dispersed networks. So metropolitan networks, that type of thing, this is going to be a significant play for you as you start looking for business opportunities or SPB opportunities within the scale category. Look at this not just from number of users. Look at it from the number of applications that they use and how they segment themselves inside their organization. And you'll find that in larger organizations, obviously you're going to be bumping up against that 4,000 VLAN limit from legacy routing that legacy routing provides, and you won't have that issue with shortest path bridging. And you're going to do it at a fraction of the cost, a tenth of the cost. So just take a look at the opportunity of shortest path bridging under the scale category. Look at it from those two perspectives, and I think you'll have a good opportunity to say something engaging and relevant to the industries that you support. Again, this is Jim Sevier. Thank you very much for watching. I look forward to seeing you on another video soon.